I am Kiana Sage from Being in Sync 366 video series. What a casual, amazing Saturday I'm having. I wanted to talk about being the master of your emotions and what does that mean? But before I go into that, I'm going to answer the question up front that no, I am not a therapist. In fact, I never wanted to be a therapist. And I'm so glad that when it was suggested to me to be a therapist, I said no, because it would have taken me so much longer to get back onto the path that I'm on now, which is energy psychology, which is really how we can repattern our energy fields to be in alignment with our soul, which is what being in sync is all about. It's about our personal alignment, being totally congruent with yourself, mind, body, soul, spirit. That's what I do. That's what I help people do. Some people call it energy healing. Some people call it divine intervention. You could call it whatever you want. The most important thing is that you're experiencing yourself. So let's talk about the root of all issues, which is going to be your emotions. When we are the master of our emotions, that means that we determine our healing, our process, and our evolution. However, many people are not in touch with their emotions, and they get triggered and they blame people, situations, events for triggering them and triggering their emotions. But you are the master of your emotions. Only you can heal your emotional body. I can't even do it for you. I can lead you through ways in which you become more empowered to go through your emotional body, but your emotional body is the doorway to your soul. And so when we have been conditioned, and many people have been taking medications or pharmaceuticals, in which those override your personal will center, it's difficult to manage your emotions. But when you are a master of your emotions, that means you're willing to feel. That means you're willing to process and really start to unfold the power that you hold with your ability to just feel. So most people ignore their feelings, I find, or they're not able to access, or they don't think they feel. But this is the thing. Your thinking is not your feeling center. And a lot of people try to intellectualize their feelings. And it doesn't work like that, because the feelings are not meant to be intellectualized or even understood. They're meant to be felt. So feeling your feelings. And a lot of people feel like, oh, I could feel pain. And that's the only resonance that they are in alignment with. But we feel things all the time. It's just how open are you to feeling, experiencing, and mastering your emotions. Because when you master your emotions, now you're going to drive your spiritual journey. When you don't have them mastered, that's usually when people look outside themselves for guidance. They read books, and the books don't tell you how to master your emotions. You've got to do that through your own experience and find what works for you. One way is not the only way. There are many ways in which you can learn to master your emotions. And so you really want to look at what are the ways that work for you. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to shut your emotions down. You don't want to shut that doorway to your soul. So I'm talking about mastering your emotions. And there is quite a significant delay in the chat and also my conversation here. So I'm just going to see if there's any questions about mastering your emotions that you would have. I think the biggest one is learning to feel without judgment. So you want to disconnect your mind and feel. And I think the biggest way to learn how to feel is to be in connection with your heart. And Your heart is not going to intellectualize what emotions mean. It's just going to help you process them. So, Kevin, hi. Kevin gets upset. Oh, my dog wants to come out here now. I'm gonna go get her. Kevin gets upset and says he wants to talk to his hamster. I think animals are a great way to learn how to process. And, but I'm wondering, Kevin, if you were to just focus on loving your hamster and how amazing your hamster is, and then you could start to expand your heart frequency through your love of your animal. I wonder if you could try that and see what you think. Because oftentimes people think that they only need to practice feeling emotions when they're angry, upset, or frustrated. But what about when you want to feel less anxiety, or you want to feel more expansion, or you want to feel less constriction, or you want to feel more optimistic? Like, where do you do those? If you don't know how to practice, and because what happens within the brain and the body is the neural pathways start to fire where they're familiar. So the emotions that they're most familiar with. So gratitude is a good way to switch feelings of anger, anxiety, frustration, because when you can go into gratitude for whatever you are perceiving is the trigger, it shifts the energy immediately. And that's not like, that's not a fake it till you make it. It's not something that's predisposed. It's not something that you think of gratitude for. It's something that you feel gratitude from your heart. And that switches everything. So Kevin, I think it's important. I don't even, oh, there she is, making sure my dog's okay. Okay. I'm just going to go back to the beginning and see if there's any questions. It says, ma'am, can you enlighten me how to overcome lust? I'm going to take this as a legitimate question because I think most people do not understand how they are being manipulated through the mind to focus on things. So they don't have their minds disciplined and they have their hearts closed. So what I would suggest is that you begin, and I think it's Ronald, I would suggest that you begin to practice to open your heart. Your heart center is a magnetic force. It's a portal of energy. And when the heart is actually open, it will help to shift the thoughts that you're having about lust or greed or whatever you might be in obsession with. But there really does need to be some discipline within your mind. And when you are having obsessive thoughts, there's no discipline in the mind. So you need to find a practice to mentally give some discipline for you of what your strategy is to move towards. And a regular practice of opening the heart will begin to shift the energetic frequencies within your physical body. I hope that was helpful, Ronald. Just seeing, I am doing great. In fact, my husband asked me today, what is your plan today? I said, my plan's just to feel. No plans, like literally, I want to feel the waves of emotions that I feel are moving through. I have a good friend whose best friend is dying, so I've been supporting my friend through her best friend's passing and transitioning in this life. And I think that brings in a different kind of emotional threshold. I noticed that I woke up during the night thinking about their friendship and also just the amount of compassion it takes to help somebody transition, which is what prompted yesterday's video as well. I'm just seeing, I'm hiding some of these. Oliver is asking, what is a good exercise I can do to practice feeling? I think there's a couple things that you could do, Oliver, and anybody else who wants to practice feeling more, because it is a great way to connect to like your own, become your own healer, and also it's a great way just to know what you need to do for the day. So feeling is, there's a couple ways that I would suggest. I always connect with myself, and I always do that by connecting with my higher self and my God self, and any energies that I feel compelled to bring forward. And I see, sense, or feel, depending on where you're strengthening. So like right now, I'm spending a lot of time on seeing more clearly, literally and figuratively, like multidimensionally. And so I will see where I'm resonating at. Like, what do I resonate with and for today? Is there anything that I need to do that needs to be tended to? Do I have anything that's urgent? Do I have anything that is stressful on my mind? And oftentimes I do have some things that are business administrative practices that, you know, those are not my favorite. So I have strategies for feeling what I'm feeling about what might be triggered from the administrative things that I need to do or something like that. So I just feel into them and I acknowledge them. Oh, I need to call this woman who I really don't resonate with her. And every interaction I had with her is just ridiculous. And so I feel that. I feel ridiculousness and I breathe into it. I think it's just important to have a knowing and an acknowledgement for your feelings. And that's all that really needs to be done. If you're going through some deep processing, obviously you'll want to do something more, like stay with the emotion. So if you're going through like a lot of grief or sadness, you'll want to stick with that emotion until it's completely moved through your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual body. And then you'll notice it's just not having that heaviness. But the most important thing with feelings is just to acknowledge them. That's it. They just need to be acknowledged. The more well-versed you are at acknowledging your feelings, it could be even sensations. You don't have to name the feeling. You just want to acknowledge whatever it is that you're feeling. Maybe it's an itch, maybe it's a tingle, maybe it's heat, maybe it's, so like I know when I was really coming into my skills, going back maybe 30 years ago, like when I was getting my intuition and I felt like I had something that was coming through intuitively, my throat would itch. So when you become attuned to the patterns of your body and how you get messages, like I would notice, oh, my throat's itching. And then before you know it, I was able to ascribe like, oh, my throat itches when. And then I outgrew that and I don't have that anymore. But that was the beginning of coming into some, what I would call gifts. But I think most people get stuck with their emotions because they're not willing to acknowledge them. All you need to do is really acknowledge them. I feel angry, I feel sad, I feel this. And where do you feel that in your body? And go to that spot and feel it. So hopefully that helps you, Oliver. Hi, Eric. Good to see you. I am a little bit earlier today. Thank you for being here. You're amazing. Hi, Kuben. Good to see you. There's so much political stuff on these chats. Like, I really don't understand. These must be bots, is what I'm guessing. Anyways, Kevin. Kevin says, my hamster is called Sweet Pea. And he knows when I am upset and bites the bar. Well, you know what animals do, Kevin, is they will, if you don't take full responsibility for your emotions, they will take them on for you. And that's how a lot of times animals get sick. And I'm sure you don't want your hamster sick. So, what you want to do when you're talking to your hamster is to tell your hamster that it does not need to take on any of your emotions, that you are taking full responsibility for your emotions. And your hamster's job is just to be there with you and give your hamster a job, for example, to play. So you get some lightness, because animals are really good at being playful and bringing in the playfulness into life. But a lot of people don't really understand that their dogs and their animals, whatever, cats, doesn't matter what kind of animal it is, they will take on responsibilities when those emotions are not being taken on by the owner. So, Kevin, what I would suggest is when you're upset, go into your body and see what is upset, what is feeling, and feel the emotion, feel the upset, and make sure that your animal is not taking that on for you. A lot of people don't know that animals are very telepathic. Like, and that's where I started practicing my telepathic abilities, was with my dog, not this dog, and my older dog. And so when he would get anxious when I would leave, so I would just connect with him telepathically, and then we would just practice like that. I know that sounds weird, but any of you who have an animal knows that your animals, they know you and they love you and they will do anything they can for you. But we don't want them taking on our emotional responsibilities, because that's a burden, right? So we are the masters of our emotions, which means we have to take full responsibility. Only when we are taking full responsibility for our emotions can we transmute them. Okay, Melvin is saying, I don't know what you're saying. I'm going to see. Lust cannot be overcome. Well, lust can be overcome. But Melvin, I would say your belief about what can and cannot be overcome will determine what you can and cannot do. I mean, when we talk about the matrix is, there's many matrices, but the belief matrix is what keeps you constricted and small. So if you want to grow and expand in consciousness, you must begin to start to challenge your beliefs, and like little beliefs like this, like I believe that you believe that lust can't be overcome. Okay, what else do you think you can't do? Like, why would you even why do you believe what you believe? Who told you to believe that? And why is that so for you? Challenge why you believe that you can't overcome things. Somebody's asking, what backyard is that? The real cook, Jamie Noel, is saying, what backyard is that? So these are junipers, and they're so green. But once you go below the skin, so this really bright, vibrant green, once you cut that back, it's like a skin, and it's completely dead all the way through. It's pretty crazy. Anyways, no, this is the thing. We need relationships to expand and grow. Do you need a man? I love my husband. Kevin is saying, how do you cope when you're stressed out and upset? Well, how do I cope when I'm stressed out and upset? It depends on what you're talking about. So when I am putting on an event for work, for example, if I'm going and I want to make sure everything's taken, I usually get things that are in my head out on paper so I know what needs to be done. So I think stress makes us go into the mind, and the mind will loop and it makes things bigger than they are. So when you are stressed, it's really important to write down what is important that needs to get done. Then I would go through a process of prioritizing, and I don't prioritize 1, 2, 3. I prioritize A, B, C, D, E, F, and I go all the way down my list and prioritize. And if you message me, Kevin, I will send you a sheet that you can kind of see how I do it. And then it basically takes now that you're looking at things from it's called multi-level prioritization. So when I'm really stressed, I will do that. But if I'm just stressed because, let's just say, I have guests coming to stay at the house and I want things to be nice and done, that's more of like an anticipation of wanting things to be a particular way, and I really let go of control. So I notice where I'm trying to control and where I'm not, and I let go of those things because I don't need to control people's experiences. I want to make my home as peaceful as possible. So for me, I make sure it's strong energetically. That's what I do, and I make sure that I'm at ease. So I'll take 5 minutes and do meditation or breath or, so that's how I address stress. Is that helpful, Kevin? I don't know if that's helpful for you or not. When I get emotionally upset, so let's just say my husband and I have some kind of discussion or banter where we're not in agreement, which is, every marriage, every couple, right? You're not going to be in agreement all the time. I will feel within myself what are the emotions that are coming up from that experience. And then I will feel the emotion and then I will process it through, and you can use your conscious breath with a mantra or so it goes through all of my bodies, all of my energy bodies. And I know most people don't do that, but that's how I have learned to process my emotions, and literally it will go away. So I always try to bring myself back into this space of neutrality when I am upset, because when you're upset, you are going to go into your mind, right? You're feeling, you're having your emotions, but you don't want to be attached to your emotions. You want to process them. So let's just say, oh, I'm feeling wounded. Well, that's my feeling, not my husband didn't make that happen. I am feeling that. So that's my responsibility. So it's my responsibility to feel my emotions. And so I will feel that through all of my energy bodies. And also I'm aware that we have timeline loops, and sometimes those are repeating patterns that need to be identified and worked through. So you don't go through the same arguments over and over again, which most marriages have those particular things that are like triggers. And if you don't have them, then you're missing out. You're missing out on healing, because if you don't have disagreements, arguments, conflict, whatever, you are missing out on expansion, because every expansion must have a constriction, and you need both. You can't just be this. It's an expansion and a contraction. Anyways, I hope that's helpful. Kevin, what I do when I'm upset, I don't think that's the normal thing to do, but that's what I do. Energetically, I think if more people knew that they could heal through timelines, they would do it. Son of God is asking, do I practice any energy healing? The answer is yes. Energy is everything. Everything is energy. So the answer is yes to that question. The the repatterning that I do in what I call energy psychology is all about repatterning back to your soul alignments. Those are your organic blueprints that need to be, a lot of times people get off track. And so, or they have repeating thoughts, or they feel lost, or they feel scared and they don't understand why they feel scared. So when you understand how you're being redirected, it's really helpful to work with somebody. And that's what I do. I work with people all day doing that. Somebody is saying it sounds like Vedic philosophy. I don't know. Could be. It's definitely connected to the ancient philosophies, for sure. Tricolor saying, you're my favorite. Well, thank you. That's the opposite of some of these other comments here. SSK Vine says, hey, you know or not? I don't know. Here's this a little rhyme here. I don't know, your face is like a moon, your smile is like a shining moon, and your voice is like instant relief. You are not human because I think you are heaven's angel. Oh, thank you so much, SSK Vines. That's very nice. But the other messages got deleted, so I'm not so sure. Question mark says, hi, thank you for the talk we had regarding mental health issues. Oh, I'm so glad that was helpful for you. Thank you for coming on here and sharing that. That was supportive of you and for you. I'm so pleased to help people that really want to align. I'm just like to give different unique perspectives. And I think the healing journey and the mental health, there's a lot of misinformation. I hate even saying that word because it seems like it's overused, but there is so much, so many lies, so much manipulation, and it's hard to know what to, to know what to follow or to believe. That's why it's so important to learn how to feel, because your feelings will not misdirect you. If you think back to all the times that you're like, oh, I thought I knew, and you didn't follow your knowing and you went with your thinking and you get misled. I know that's happened to me before, and let me tell you, those are humbling experiences, and they're usually the hardest life lessons that we get. But mental health, people have been, what I'm going to say, attacked, and they don't know that they're being attacked. They just think they're unstable. Well, we're unstable because we're not aligned. If you're misaligned, you need to realign. That's all we need to do, is to align again and again and again. And the alignments never end. It's like a continuous evolution, and you align and you grow and you realign, you grow. So glad that that was helpful. Good morning, Ravi Kumar. Just looking for questions here on emotion. Okay, Eric, see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. Ollie says, I have designer pigeons, and all they do is eat and make me feel happy. All right. Hello, Negro. Good to see you here. Kevin, oh good, I'm glad. If you send me a message, Kevin, I will send you a sheet that has it all written out if you're interested. But I mean, you get the gist. Sandeep says hello. Kill says that he's not a Muslim, but he survived prison. I'm glad that you survived prison and you're on the other side and you're working to heal yourself. You don't have to align with anything that doesn't feel right to you. Good night, Kevin. Have a great day or great night. Thank you for being here. All right, so I don't see any other questions, so I'm going to make this a short video. I hope you guys have a great day. And remember that you are the master of your emotions. So if you're feeling something, that's not somebody else's fault. That's your responsibility. Feel it totally, fully, and completely. You are worth it. KT is saying, what's your why for early life versus now? I don't understand that question, XT. XT, can you be more explicit? What is your why? Are you asking me what motivates me for my life? XT, motivation. Okay, XT is asking me, what is my motivation for life? My motivation is my connection with God, and to be in service to humanity and to help people heal, grow, and expand as I heal, grow, and expand. That is everything that I do every single day, is to be in deep connection with God, source energy, creator, creation of all, and to be fully aligned to my soul and make sure that I am in alignment with the natural laws, which is why I do these videos, is to make it easy for people to understand how to connect with the natural laws, because a lot of times people make it so intellectual. They're like, how do I do that? So, XT is asking, do I have goals? I have goals, but mostly I focused on my values. So I have values and I have a focus for the year. And every month I do a monthly reflection to make sure, you know, where the direction I'm going. What were my wins? Where am I aligned? What do I need to change? Where do I need to learn? Where do I need to grow? What things need to be addressed in the next month that I didn't get done in this month. I'm very technical in that way. I think it's important to have a review to see if you're on track. I used to be really big into goals, and I think it works in a lot of ways, but mostly I am exceptionally intentional, and I think it's more important to be intentional than it is to have these big goals. That's for me personally. Those things, I understand that corporate uses goals, so I do my best to help my clients align to their goals when they have them, to make sure they're in alignment to having them done, because a lot of people have goals and those goals end up being barriers because they're so disconnected from how to achieve it, and they're so disconnected from the possibility of the outcome. So the goals really serve them no good because they're creating more of a barrier when you're not aligned. I hope that was helpful, XT. I think that was a good question. I'd be curious, what's your motivation? What do you do every day? What gets you up in life? Like for me, it's about health. Health is the real wealth, I believe. And I think, you know, unfortunately, once your health has been challenged, if you will, then it becomes more of a priority. And I think a lot of people found COVID to be that wake-up call for them. Mine actually came far before COVID, and I did a video on it called The Secret Illness. But essentially, for a long time, my focus was heavy metal detox, detox, detox. Because if you know anything about heavy metals, they will mess with your energy field more than anything else. And a lot of people have a lot of heavy metals in their body and they don't know, because doctors usually don't test for heavy metals. In fact, I had to pay out of pocket to get my tests done, and I use something called doctor's data, which is the best one, because I've used other ones that were cheaper and they don't give you good quality data. So not all data is equal, right? We learned that during COVID too, right? They had a lot of people telling us this is it, and those stupid tests didn't tell you whether you have COVID or not. I mean, there's just so many bad measures, right? So you got to find the right measure for you. XT, you got to find the right measure. So make sure your goals are in alignment. Those are some really good questions. I'm looking to see. I don't know anything about Hindu religion, although I do follow an Ayurvedic practice. So, XT. That's an amazing, XT says, that's an amazing principle. Wish you the best. Thank you. My struggle is to remember to be humble and to listen before speaking. Well, you know, I think XT, we could all learn that lesson. You know, we all need to be humble. And if we're not humble, we will be humbled because the ego will get crushed. So the best way to stay humble is to stay in connection with your heart. Somebody is asking, I want to get this name, Divine Full. Do I believe in reincarnation? I do. I also believe that some of the reincarnations are not organic. So I think some of us are coming back because of some other nefarious energies that have infiltrated the earth. But that's just my personal opinion. And it is my channel. I'm giving it to you honestly. But yes, I do believe in reincarnation. I believe that we are multidimensional beings and that we can live in parallel realities. I do believe that. But our focus is to be single soul occupied in this reality, in this dimension. And I think a lot of people have attachments that they're not aware of. I'm from Bangladesh and I respect you, sister. Thank you. Shadto. I think it's pretty late in India. Isn't it like 2 or 3 a.m. there? Melvin is asking, do heavy metals come from seafood? Heavy metals come from the pots and pans you cook in. Heavy metals can come from the things that you drink out of. It can come from the cans that you, like I would say tuna, canned tuna is not fit for human consumption. In fact, I had my heavy metal test. I ate tuna, and then like 6 months later, I got my heavy metal tests again, and I could see my mercury levels went up significantly. So yes, there is heavy metals in seafood. There's heavy metals everywhere. And if you know anything about energy, you can get it just from being exposed. So yeah, I had a lot of radiation. Okay. I'm just looking. Somebody asked, am I practicing? Okay, let's see. You practicing any energy healing? I practice energy psychology. I don't do Reiki. I don't follow anybody else's practices. I know what I've been taught energetically is all in alignment with the natural laws. So I think that there's some energy healers that'll just take you down a rabbit hole that'll lead you into dark places. So Running Man says, nothing of substance, Running Man. Okay. Son of God, yes, I do practice energy healing. It's energy psychology. So I'm curious, when you ask, do you practice energy healing, I'm wondering if you're asking a different question, but you're not writing the question. Um, I don't use my own energy to do energy healing. I use my intentions and my connections with my clients' guides and my guides, and I direct energy that way. Depending on how sensitive a person is, they can feel it, but they will always see a result from a session, whether it was something they didn't feel during a session or like here's one, this is kind of funny. I've had two men come to me, two different men having relationship issues, and both of them are now engaged to the woman that they were in relationships with where it wasn't going so good, but they came to me specifically for relationship issues, and now they're engaged. So, energy healing works when you understand how patterns are running. XT is asking if are you talking, okay, sorry, I got ahead of myself. XT is asking, have I been exposed to Brian Johnson's content? He is also very conscious of heavy metals in food. Is that the Do Not Die guy? Brian Johnson? I'm not sure. I don't know who he is. I don't really follow anybody. So no, I don't know who that is. But I don't know. I mean, I see things and people send me things, and I think if you get your heavy metals tested regularly, you will be surprised. I will tell you the reason why I got my heavy metal testing done is because my mother was dying of cancer. And that was one of the things that we did to see, the health of her systems. Because you could see a lot, the blood carries everything. And if you have heavy metals in your system, it's obviously going to be carried through your blood, which is going to go to all your organs, which is going to go to all your bones, and it's going to go through all your fluids. So if you are not aware of heavy metals, and that means taking hair samples, and obviously I get my hair colored, so like I grow out hair like this about an inch long before I send it in to get tested, so there's no color on the hair. It's just when I finally saw what the issue was. So my mom got hers done. We got it done at the same time. And the one thing I didn't do was the heavy metal testing for the hair. So when she actually passed away, I went back. That was one of the first things I did is I went back and I got all my blood done. And I measured my blood against healthy levels, not doctor's levels. So I don't know if you guys all know this, but when you go to the doctor and they're showing you your blood in comparison to other sick people's blood, you don't want to compare your measures to sick people. You want to have measures that are the healthy measures for healthy blood, healthy levels of iron and all those things. So I did that, and that was the baseline. And then once I saw the issue with my heavy metals, because I was having physical problems, but the doctors couldn't figure anything else out. Because the thing about going to the doctors with heavy metal issues is that they don't test for it, one, but they also don't treat for wellness, they treat for sickness. So when you have a lot of heavy metals, you're eventually going to get sick. But when you've gotten sick, it's not too late, but it's much harder. So I hope that helps, XT. I think it's important to look at the food that you eat, but also what I will say is when you have heavy metals in your systems, it will change how you eat, what you crave. And that also impacts how you can cleanse and detox. Son of God, no, there is nothing like that myself. You're a Reiki healer. Okay, I know a lot of Reiki people. I've never even worked with Reiki at all. Somebody is asking if I'm transgender. That seems transgender and seems to be the thing. And he's asking because I have shoulders. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous question. No, I'm not transgender. And I think that transgender is a platform of manipulation. How about that? Not that everybody who's transgendered is being manipulated, but a lot of them are. Nick is asking, I suppose, to guide people to reconnect them with God. I think we're all aspects and show of God. So we're all connected to God. But most people who are struggling are disconnected. I think that's a fair statement. Son of God is saying something that his master said. Son of God is saying, you know, my master says there's 8 billion people on this earth, but we only met a few people. I felt something when I saw you. Oh, okay. I think there's something to what your master said, but I would refer nobody as a master, except for you. You're the master, so your master is reflecting you. But I would say that you're right. You know how the world is a small world. I remember traveling to Hong Kong and meeting somebody from my small town. So yeah, the world is small, and everybody that comes into our orbit, if you will, is there to teach us something and to learn. So as I mentioned yesterday, my friend's best friend is dying. And as she was sharing her experience of her best friend dying, I was getting in the conversation like, okay, here are my lessons that I need to learn from this situation. And so I just started processing with her so she could be more present with her friend. So it was quite interesting, because if you're in a situation and you realize that people are teaching you, then, you know, everybody's your teacher. Everybody's there to teach you. And so there is no masters. We're all masters of ourselves. Divineful is asking, do I believe that people with heavy metal issues, the majority comes from past lives that affects them in this life, or no? Well, I think that's a brilliant question. And I would say there are multiple ways to look at that, because we do know that our DNA contains elements of lessons from past lives. So for sure, I do believe that some of the heavy metal issues may come from past lives. However, I also believe that this third dimensional world that we live in, there is components to weaken the human angelic body systems, especially if you're one of the star seeds, or you know, I hate to use that kind of language, because it's really, I work with so many corporate people that don't really speak at that language. So I really try to keep really out of that woo-woo language. But there are a lot of, you know, people who have very high propensities for expanded levels of consciousness to bring healing to the world. So with that said, I think that there is ways in which we can diminish their abilities to access multidimensionally by using things like heavy metals, because it goes undetected most of the time. Why are so many people getting sick? Why is there so many heavy metals in the vaccines? Why is that occurring? You don't need heavy metals to hold a virus in place. Heavy metals work to create more density. When you hold more density, and you are more reactive, by the way, which a lot of heavy metals make you more reactive, because depending which one you're holding, like radiation, that's reactive, and it's reactive to everything. And Anyways, so I don't want to make this about heavy metals, but I think that's a good question. I think it's a yes and. I think that our blood brings in what we need to learn and transmute, and we could also be clearing from other dimensions. But I also think that so many people are holding dense energies that makes it difficult for them to heal and then difficult for them to ascend. That's what I think about that. I hope that helps. I hope that helps. XT is saying, I'm sorry for your loss. It sounds like you are a very good daughter. Okay, bye. I'm heading off now, but have a great day. Thanks, XT. Good to see you here. And thank you for your thoughts. Julie is saying, Christ is coming soon. I'd say Christ consciousness is here and it's never left. Ali is asking, what do I think about the recent protests in England? I have no idea about what that is, but I would say a lot of people who are protesting, you need to really know what you're fighting for and not fighting against. It's much better use of your energy to fight for things, not to fight against. And I think most people do these protests and they don't understand that there's a group energy that goes in to those fields that can be quite dangerous and manipulative. Son of God, we call our teacher a master teacher, is one of the guides you on to the right path. Yes, I understand what you're saying. I just don't buy into the hierarchy. Son of God says, great composure. Oh, you're saying, I don't know how to say La Ra. I think you're saying your master's name. I don't know how to say it. Spicy is saying, you make my heart flutter. Mike Larry is saying, is it true you can be born gay? And I think it's more true that we all have lessons to come into this life with. And you don't know what your lessons are until you're experiencing them. So maybe somebody's soul lesson is to experience life through the transition of genders. Maybe it's about love. But I think people are getting really hung up on genders being right or wrong and less connected to what are the soul lessons that people need to learn. And I think, unfortunately, there's a lot of manipulation going on with this transgender movement. And these people are having a lot of really horrific medical traumas. I think it's crimes against humanity. And it's young children. Oh, Ilaraja. I don't know if I'm saying that right. You're saying your name. Okay, got it. You're a music director. Got it now. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much for your time, energy, your questions. Congratulations on becoming and being the master of your emotions and not looking for somebody else to be the master of you. You are your own master of your emotions. Learn how to feel every single day. Practice. Give yourself time, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and just feel. Just sit and feel whatever it is that you're feeling. Like right now, I'm feeling like I want to take a nap. And it's Saturday and it's a beautiful day. I'm just going to chill and feel. So feel what it is that it needs to be for you. Everybody's going to have different feelings. You don't want to look for somebody else to be validating or feeling your feelings for you. You are the master of your emotions. I hope you have a great day. My name is Kiana Sage, and I guide people to peace. Bye, Melvin. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.